Good morning, friends. I am Christine Miller Beltran, ordained minister practitioner, intuitive channel, astrologer, numerologist, reflexologist, and board certified hypnotist. All things the mind, the spirit, and our journey of evolving and awakening in this physical life, and of course, serving our ultimate good and one another and the collective. So good morning, and this powerful day, December 30th, 2024. It is 10:12 a.m. on Monday morning, December the 30th, 2024, and we are in a new moon in Capricorn today at 5:27 p.m. Why that's powerful is it's a black moon because it's the second new moon in December and the final lunar phase for 2024. And the themes are extremely exciting and powerful. I'd like to unpack some of those with you today, utilizing some other tools that I utilize for myself and my clients. And welcome to my channel. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. And I welcome your comments and input. And if there's anything you want to know about, I'd like to know about that too. So I am here in West Babylon, New York, and that is what my chart is set for, which I'm pulling up for myself now so that I can see it. I am still unpacking YouTube and sharing and all that. And I was on Zoom, but that didn't work out. So we're not going for perfection. We're going for the importance of communicating these powerful themes today. So good morning, all. I would like to start by saying, so the sun is our personality, or where the sun was at the moment of our birth in time. For your own personal chart, you would need to run your own personal birth chart, and there are places to do that on the internet, or you can consult with an astrologer and have a reading like with me. I see people virtually and in person in my West Babylon home office. So the sun is at 9 degrees today in Capricorn, and depending on where the sun was at your moment of birth and the transit of those houses and the planets is what the themes are affecting you. But in the collective, generally speaking, all things are true for all, mostly, not all. So I am going to share some things today. The moon is conjunct, meaning the moon and the sun are coming together. They're closest together at the new moon phase at 9 degrees today. And in this chart that I ran for West Babylon, New York, it's in the 7th house. And the 7th house represents partnerships, marriages, close business associates, and close significant partners that one endeavors and shares the journey with of life. So they are together in Capricorn. And Capricorn themes, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Capricorn is serious indeed. Capricorn is about discipline, focus, creating structure, creating systems. It's about self-discipline and being grounded and responsible in one's life. Capricorn is the goat, ruled by the planet Saturn, which I mentioned already, I believe, the teacher. And so that's the sun. And then the moon is also in Capricorn today at 9 degrees as well, sitting together in the 7th house in this chart that I ran for West Babylon, New York. Depending on where you are in the world, it may be in a different house. It's in the 7th in West Babylon, New York at this time at 5:27 p.m. today, when the sun and the moon align, and the moon goes full new moon, black moon. So the moon is about our emotions, could be about our physical body. It can relate to the mother, or our physical earth mother. Sometimes the moon reflects that. The moon and the lunar phases of the moon are very significant to our journeys in life. And of course, the tides going in and going out have a significant impact on our emotional, mental, and physiological being, our being, and our way of being. So we're influenced by these transits and these events. And it's interesting, it shows up differently for all of us depending on where we are in our journey. So I want to talk about the 9 degrees as it relates to the major arcana in the tarot. 9 degrees, or number 9, is the Hermit. and that's really actually perfect in this theme. The Hermit, you see his light. I love the Hermit card. It goes with the sign of Virgo, um, and the Virgo is the sign of service, and we'll see how that comes together later. And the Hermit in Key 9 is going down into the basement and illuminating, or he's going inward and illuminating what's going on inside. Of course, I keep saying, and I love this phrase, that it's an inside job. Our work to understand and seek is not out in the cosmos or anywhere out here. That is not where God exists. It's within, the God within and the wisdom within. And this Hermit card is an invitation in the number 9 to go within and to seek the self within. And number 9 in numerology is also about healing. It's the last number before the number 10, which becomes a 1 for new beginnings. So isn't that perfect? That number 9 is about, it's about a completion of some kind, and also really self-examining and understanding what that is for you in your journey. It's a personal deep dive. I have actually loved this time of year in the winter solstice every year. When I listened a couple of times, and I also listened to his, well, I'm going to call them DVDs. I think they were CDs at the time, but John Maxwell, who is a minister and he travels the world speaking. He also coaches, and we saw him at our Young Living convention twice. And also I followed him and purchased his books and his audios. And so I was mentored by him in my mind's eye. And I loved what he said about my 5 things. If we do 5 things every single day, eventually we're becoming masters of the self. And this is what Capricorn is about, self-mastery. And Saturn is about self-mastery. So that's a great theme. And I think Spirit just gave me that vision of John Maxwell. And this time of year that I absolutely adore, sitting in my my magic room, and I take a big art pad and I take my day timer and I go through every day of the past year, and I look at every appointment, every moment, and I reflect on them, and not to judge myself, but to actually sometimes at a girl me, and to see also where I may improve on areas that I want to improve on in the coming days, in the coming moments of my life. So that is the theme of this Capricorn new moon in the Hermit and in the sign of Capricorn. I think we've really covered that to a degree. It's sitting in, interestingly, and again, this is in this chart, but in opposition to the sign of Cancer, the crab. Cancer, what are the themes of Cancerian? And in the first house, so the house of self. And the ascending sign is sitting in Cancer. The ascendant is how the world sees us. And it's also, Lori Lothian said from Lunatic Astrology, I love this, the avatar, or the role that we play in this life. But it's our external self, and it also is a major expression of our being in this life. So for the ascending to be in Cancer, Cancer is about mother, nurturing. You see a theme here. 7th house, relationships. 1st house is about the self. And we were talking about the Hermit going into the self. Well, Cancers nourish, mother, nurture. They also have to balance, they don't have to anything Cancer, Cancer delete. They also seek to balance their cardinal water, and they're ruled by the moon. So isn't that interesting that it's in opposition, right? In Cancer, ascending sign, Cancer is the opposite sign to Capricorn, and it's sitting in the 1st house of self. So it's an invitation, and the part of fortune is there too, which is a minor body or an asteroid. And the part of fortune is about the blessings, and it's sitting very close, exactly conjunct 21 degrees. 21 degrees of Cancer with the ascendant. Why? What is that about? The 1st house is about the self, as I mentioned, ruled prototypically by Aries, and Cancer is ruling it at this moment in time for where I ran the chart. It's about self-nurturing. It's about self-exploration. It's about being aware of our intuitive, our emotions, and working to nourish the self within the self, which is also that opposition gives us a little bit of grit. It's calling attention to us going within and doing that, and even further, uh, you know, emphasizing that. Key 21 in the tarot is the world. So I mentioned that the number 9 is a completion. In the tarot, the world is the last card in the major arcana of the Fool's Journey. So something is being completed in one's life, something is coming to a close. Good job, whatever that is. It may be a journey that's been very, very difficult, but what is the gift in it and what have you learned in that? Hence the self exploration and the self expression, to dive into the self and understand what you have just come through, what you are coming through, and what you have experienced. And look at the growth. Look at where you're being resistant to growth so that you can allow yourself to set a new intention. The world is about completions, and where there are completions, the new moon is about new beginnings. So we're in a major theme of new beginnings. And what is the theme of this new beginning? It's Capricorn. It's about discipline, focus, getting a structure that works, making sure our foundation, that's what Saturn wants us to do. Saturn says, is your foundation strong to build upon? Because it's time to build upon. The world needs what you have. And so that is the opposition in the first house to the seventh house. Another very important point in this alignment is the North Node, which is a destiny point or a major theme in individual lives, is the North Node or the nodes of the moon. It's a crossing point in a chart. And the North Node and the South Node are in opposition to each other. And the North Node right now is in the astrological sign of Aries. And it's in this chart, it's in the 10th or the midheaven. So it's really emphasized in there. And what is the theme of Aries? Now we have the ascending sign in the first house, which is prototypically ruled by Aries. And the nodes, the North Node is saying Aries themes: leadership, fiery passion, action, initiative, the mind. Aries rules the head. It's the ram. Sometimes Aries bangs their head against the wall. They go head first into everything. Make sure you're solid with that. It's the magician. It's the creativity. It's in the tarot, the magician is the key number 1. I believe that this is the card for Aries. And the magician creates. The magician is waving his wand. So what do you want to create? You see that cup? That cup is about filling the cup and bringing it forward into the world in service. What is the Dharma? The Dharma is the opposition to the North Node, and it's called the South Node, or the dragon's tail. So you got the dragon's head is the North Node, the dragon's tail is the South Node, and it sits. The North Node sits in the 10th house, which is typically ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. Are you following the theme? And its North Node is now in the midheaven in the 10th or MC. Major focal point in a chart. And it's our social status. It's how we come forward in the world and the work that we do, the career. It's also the patriarchy, which is representative of father. Can be in a chart, represent your father or the parent of the opposite sex. If you're a male, it may be the mother in that 10th house position. But usually it's a patriarchal theme. And it's in opposition, and the Dharma that we're going to talk about is Libra. Libra that wants balance. Libra ruled by Venus. Libra wants harmony. And Libra, in a dharmic role, is about potentially is people pleasing. And it's in the 4th house, or the house of home. The house of home and our homes. Now, I did say that this Capricorn theme is in the 7th house of marriage, and this 4th house Dharma is in the home. So there may, for some of you, be an exploration of your marriages, of your close partnerships, of your home, and what needs to be cleaned up, where new disciplines need to come in and truth be spoken. Are you speaking your truth, or are you people pleasing? Are you keeping everything in your perspective of balance when in actuality you're not in your own truth? Hence the hermit diving in that seventh house and coming into your wisdom and your own truth. Are you catching the vibe here? I hope so. All right, let's talk about some other very powerful, powerful things going on. We have we have a T square, and the T square emphasizes that North Node in Aries at 1 degree and to Pisces, it's sextile, to the Pluto in the eighth house. The eighth house is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is now in a transit in Aquarius. And Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, blowing up and emphasizing that absolute need immediately for transformation and possible change of the self or of your relationships with others. It's also possibly about finances and cleaning that up, loans, anything to do with banks or stocks or long-term investments are in the eighth house. And that is sextile to that North Node in Aries. And it's part of this, we have something else going on, an operational, it's called a mystical rectangle. And the North Node is connected to Pluto. Again, asking for transformation, ask for transformation of the mind, Aries, of our social structure, of how we're showing up as a leader in our own lives, perhaps. These are all potential themes. And so I wanted to bring that out because that's very important. Of course, Aquarius wants us to be our own unique self. Our Aquarians are unique and they express, and Aquarius rules astrology, by the way. And in the eighth house, that's the house of the occult and mysticism, or the Scorpio, the dark waters of Scorpio. Are you feeling the themes? Also, Aries, the North Node, and Pluto was originally ruled by Mars. And we're going to talk about that in a moment, before Pluto was discovered in 1931 or 33. One of those. I get it screwed up because my mother was born in 33 and my father was born in 31. But that's when Pluto was discovered. Isn't that fascinating? And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the rest of that operational rectangle, which an operational rectangle, for those that like astrospeak, is 2 sextiles and 2 trines. Create an operational mystical rectangle, which is extremely powerful and intuitive and points to our own intuition and mysticism, that we have the wisdom we need within. Okay, I'm learning more about the mystical rectangle just recently, actually. So let's talk about Mars. Mars is in the second house right now and is part of this mystical rectangle in the fiery sign of Leo. Mars is prototypically ruled by Aries, and the second house is the home of Taurus or Venus, ruled Taurus, and it's about self-worth. So Mars, you hear this, is coming in with Leo, which Leo rules the heart, in that second house, saying, how are you loving yourself? Are you valuing yourself? Are you surrounding yourself with those that value you? Let's pull in that seventh house and the eighth house of others. Do you need to take another look at who you're surrounding yourself with? Are you being honored in your circles? Are you trustworthy? Are you showing up with love and heart in your life to serve and to be of service to the collective and the greater reason that we're here, right? And Mars is in sextile to that Dharma of Libra, okay? The Dharma being, again, the challenge is actually the Dharma is the past life expression. So the past lives of Libra was all about keeping balance, harmony, justice, and making sure that was all calibrated. The theme now is to go and lead, to break out, to express your unique, fabulous self. Okay? I hope I'm getting this, this soup out there in a way that all of you can digest it. That's soup and digestion. I love soup. It's warming for the soul, isn't it, though? Okay. So, not to digress, let me just take a look. I spoke about the world and the T square. The T square offers some tension, and the tension exists between that north node and south node, and then the opposition, which is Mars in Leo, is opposing actually by 1 degree that Pluto in Aquarius in that eighth house. What does that mean? That means it's an emphasis, an opportunity. When the tension shows up, we need to take a look at it because we want to move that energy and harness and harvest that energy into possibility for ourselves. You see me holding the selenite wand. I'm all about the crystals. The selenite wand connects to the divine. I'm asking for divine wisdom to come in so that I'm speaking truth to you. I'm also working with a kyanite in my right hand, aiming outwards. The crystals help to ground me and keep my thoughts coming because they're not always my thoughts. They're coming in from spirit. And we all have this gift when we refine it. And I'm also grounding barefoot on my wood floor. And that's Tallulah. The mailman must be here. Yes, he is. It's 10:32. Ralph is our mailman. He's so wonderful. Okay. I want to talk about Chiron because Chiron is a very, very important character in the life that we are expressing because Chiron's mythology is the wounded warrior. And Chiron he has been a wounded warrior, and aren't we all wounded warriors, who is coming forward to heal his own wounds and then to heal the wounds of others. He is sitting right now in the 10th house in wide connection to that north node, but he's there. And he's also in Aries. So the mind again, right? The head. What are our thoughts? What are we thinking? How are we leading forward as it relates to how we're showing up in the world? And how do people perceive how we show up in the world? Are we leading? Are we leading in our own lives? Jupiter is at 13 degrees in the 12th house. It's retrograde. Jupiter is the great benefic. It blesses, and it's in there in Gemini, reinforcing that anything hidden in our subconscious minds, this is a great opportunity to come out and to work on those things, to heal those things. I'm just looking at the planetary influences to see the aspects. It's actually in opposition to Mercury, the planet which also rules the mind, which is in the 6th house in this chart, in Sagittarius, which wants to be ideological, all philosophical, all the things that we learn is Sagittarian the centaur. And interestingly, Chiron was half man, half horse. That's part of the mythology, which I won't get into because then I'm going deep, diving into that. So that 6th house is being accessed directly in opposition by that Jupiter 13, number 13, which becomes a 4, which is a foundation. And we're talking about making sure we're in a strong foundation. And key 13, oh my gosh, what's key 13 in the tarot? Hold on a minute. Let me just, key 13. It's jumping out of my head because I have so many things going on. I know it's important for me to mention this, so I'm going to do it. It's the death card. I knew it was important, and I had already pulled it. So the death card is key 13 in the tarot. What is the death card about? The death card is about letting go and endings. We had the completion card, key 21. And the death card, what has to go? What is dying, meant to die within us, meant to move out of our experience? And it also may mean that we may be experiencing literal deaths in our lives that create an opportunity for new beginnings for us. Whenever there are endings, there are new beginnings, and this is a new beginning moon. That is the theme of this moon. I want to talk about the Sabian symbol of Capricorn 10. So the Sabian symbol is this book, Diana LaRoche. I heard first about this book from, again, Lori Lothian, the lunatic astrologer. Shout out to her. She's on my bucket list to meet someday. She's one of my teachers, even though she doesn't know it yet. And Capricorn 10, you take one, it's the Sabian symbols were written and channeled by Elsie Wheeler and Edmund, oh gosh. Okay. Edmund something something. Mark Edmund Thornton or something like that. In the 1920s, I believe it was. And she channeled 360 symbols and he recorded them. And it's a long and beautiful story. But anyway, Capricorn 10 is where we are because you go 1 degree up. We're in Capricorn 9. I said the sun and the moon, right? So this is the theme for the sun and moon in this new moon today that will actually go forward for 3 months and beyond in the coming times, that we're setting these intentions of the laws of creation and manifestation. I hope you all know about those because they are powerful laws that we get to harness and harvest in our own journeys. So this theme is an albatross feeding from the hand, or the key word to nurture. Do you remember when I said that key theme for Cancer, the opposite of this moon sun is Cancer, the nurturer, the mother? Well, that's the theme of Capricorn in key 10. Is that amazing? And it's the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto you. So it's an examination of how you are being in the world and what you are receiving from others and how you're being treated, because it's a direct reflection of you, of your thoughts, of your feelings, of what needs to be continually healed in you. There are no accidents about who is in our experience. And if somebody is leaving your experience, let them, as Mel Robbins says, and just take just do a checklist. What was my role in it? Do I need to be responsible for any of this and accountable within my own self? And if I do, I ask for forgiveness in the ethers, and we'll talk about that before we leave one another today. So I have to move this along. This is the principle of doing unto others, as I said, right? And the image is an albatross feeding from the hand, symbolizing service and giving, being in servitude, being in service to others, which is a theme that we've been discussing here as well. The emphasis is on generosity, care, and concern for other people, right? It starts with us, but then we don't need to anything, but what is a life if we don't care about others? No man is an island. We're all here to not only talk about serving the others and helping others, but to be that in every moment of every day, to show up and be a listening ear, to be compassionate, to be loving, and sometimes to tell the hard truth. And with that, I'm going to also, this is from my mentor and friend, Dr. Kelly Talixon, who went to her fabulous new book signing. Shout out to Kelly, Barriers to Love and Self-Love. I think that's the Barriers to Self-Love. If you haven't read that, or The Voiceless Soul, her 2 books, please do. They are instrumental and have been instrumental for me and continuing my healing journey and empowerment. And that is why we're here, guys. Because as we heal the collective. This is why we're here. It's us and God. You're not here to fix anybody else. So quit that, as Paul Saladino says. Quit it. So, Ho'oponopono, the great Hunas of Hawaii. This prayer is so deeply healing. If you want to look into Ho'oponopono and its origins, it's quite powerful. It also connects to a gentleman that experimented with the Ho'oponopono prayer in a mental institution that had great violence. And as he went over the patient files and said the Ho'oponopono over each patient, they began to heal in the ethers. That's how powerful we are. That man was serving humanity. And the Ho'oponopono is, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So, forgiveness is divine. If anyone has done you wrong in your mind, it's just a story. Forgive, release, let go, and build your foundation, build your truth, build your beautiful life so that you can be a blessing to the collective and to serve God, our Almighty, the I Am. And today's final card was an angel that I pulled, and look at this, key 21. Does that sound familiar? Key 21, the world. 21 becomes a 3, it becomes a celebratory. But in this case, Iofiel, the angel realm, beauty, fell out. And Iofiel She was upside down, by the way. And she acknowledges about the beauty of God. That's what her name means. Everything divine is natural, beautiful, and eternal. True beauty is always new, never going out of style. And when attuned with your eternal self, you express harmony that is your unique reflection of God. Isn't that part of this theme? The beauty of God lies hidden within the beauty of our material world. IOFL is here to help you experience a new depth of beauty. When you look at others, see through outward appearances, and connect to their eternal truth. In this way, you help them feel and align with their own truth. So when you see another's truth, you assist them and support the collective in aligning with their truth. This goes on and on for another 2 pages, which I'm not going to do. I think that just is the perfect exclamation point on this reading and on this share today. And so I hope anyone that needed to receive this wisdom, it's a powerful day to create. I'm going to be reflecting on this year. As soon as I get off, I'm going to clean this all up and I'm going to get to work in reflecting on this year. And I also, just in finality, have chosen my word. I love Pam Gregory, the UK astrologer. And after I chose my word, I just listened to her about this new moon. And she used my word at least 4, if not 6 or 8 times in this reading. And it's sovereignty. My word is sovereignty. Choose one word that's going to represent your year. Today is a great day to allow yourself to commune with God and the wisdom that lies within us all so that you can be directed and guided to the beauty of who you really are. Amen. And have a blessed and beautiful day. And it's almost time for 2025. I can't wait. God bless.